Your plant is sending you a signal, and our job is just to learn how to read it. So what is it trying to say? Well, usually it's pointing to one of a few simple things. It could be the chemicals in your tap water, maybe the soil is staying too wet or getting too dry, or it could even be some leftover fertilizer salts hanging around. But here's the key. Every single one of these is an easy fix. So how do we fix all this? And more importantly, stop it from happening again? We just need to build a really great routine from the ground up. And that brings us to the absolute heart of this whole thing, a simple, easy-to-remember framework I call the 4 pillars of care. These are the fundamentals, the big 4: light, water, food, and home. I'm telling you, if you get these 4 things right, everything else just clicks into place. This is your foundation for a happy, thriving plant. So let's break them down. First up, pillar number 1, light. This one's a game changer. Spider plants love, love, love a bright room, but they really don't want the sun's rays beating down on them. An east-facing window with that gentle morning sun, that's the sweet spot. If all you have is a super sunny window, no problem. Just pull the plant back a few feet. And if your plant is outdoors, just find it a nice spot on a covered porch or under a tree, away from that intense afternoon sun. And believe me, your plant will let you know if the light is off. The clues are super clear. Too much direct sun and you get those burnt, scorched tips or even bleached out patches. On the flip side, if there's not enough light, the leaves might look kind of pale and faded, or the whole plant will get all stretched out and leggy, literally reaching for more light. Okay, on to pillar 2, water. Look, if you remember one thing from this whole explainer, make it this. Ditch the rigid schedule like watering every single Saturday. Instead, just get to know your plant. Stick your finger into the soil about an inch or 2 down. If it feels dry, great, it's time to water. If you feel any dampness, just wait a day or 2 and check again. This is especially true for outdoor plants. They can dry out super fast on a hot day. And here's the funny thing. Brown tips can mean you're watering too much or too little. If you're overwatering, the roots can't breathe, and you'll see yellowing leaves and maybe even a funky smell. Underwatering is a bit more obvious. The whole plant will just look thirsty, kind of droopy and sad with crispy edges. So here's the perfect watering method every single time. It's just 3 steps. 1, check the soil. 2, when it's dry, give it a good, thorough soak. And here's a pro tip. Use filtered water, rainwater, or just let your tap water sit out overnight. That gives the chlorine time to evaporate. Just pour until water streams out the bottom. And 3, this is so important. Make sure it drains completely. Never let it sit in a puddle of water. All right, pillar 3, food. Just think of fertilizer as a little power-up for your plant during its busy season. You know, spring and summer. That's when spider plants are really in high growth mode, pushing out tons of new leaves and those famous little baby plantlets. And feeding it is so simple. Just grab any balanced all-purpose liquid fertilizer. Now, the absolute golden rule here is to dilute it to half of what the bottle says. Seriously, this stops the roots from getting burned, which can cause, you guessed it, more brown tips. Feed it about every 2 to 4 weeks, but only during spring and summer. Once fall rolls around, you can stop completely until next year. And that brings us to our final pillar, home. We're talking about the pot and the soil, the actual foundation where your plant lives. See, spider plants have these really cool, thick, fleshy roots that are amazing at storing water. So they need a home with really good drainage to keep those roots happy and healthy. So how do you know when it's moving day? You'll probably only need to repot every 2 or 3 years, and the signs are pretty obvious. You'll see roots creeping out of the drainage holes, or water will just rush right through the pot. But my favorite sign, and this is so cool, is when the roots get so big, they literally start pushing the plant up and out of the pot. When you do repot, just pick a new pot that's only an inch or 2 wider. Okay, you've got the 4 pillars down. Your plant is officially on the road to success. Now we get to talk about some pro-level tips, starting with pruning. A quick trim isn't just about making it look neat. It's actually a smart way to redirect the plant's energy to make it grow fuller and healthier. Here's the how-to. First off, always give your scissors a quick wipe with some rubbing alcohol. It's just good hygiene. For those brown tips, you can just snip them off. Try to follow the natural pointy shape of the leaf so it looks nice. Go ahead and cut off any leaves that are totally yellow or dead right at the base. And finally, if the main plant is looking a little thin but has tons of babies dangling off it, it's okay to snip a few of those runners off. This tells the plant, hey, focus on your own leaves for a bit. Now, speaking of all those baby plants, One of the absolute joys of a happy spider plant is that it gives you more plants for free. This is called propagation, and it's so much fun and unbelievably easy. There are basically two ways to do it. You've got two main options here. The classic way is using the little spiderettes, those baby plants hanging off the long stems. Once they start to grow their own tiny little roots, you just snip them off and pop them in some soil or water. Easy. The other method is division. This is perfect for a really big, overgrown plant. When you're repotting it, you can actually just gently pull the whole root ball apart into 2 or 3 separate plants. Okay, we've covered a ton. Light, water, food, home, pruning, propagating. Now, let's pull it all together into a simple yearly calendar, because what your plant needs in the summer is pretty different from what it needs in the winter. So just think of it this way. Early spring is for the big projects. That's your window to repot, divide, or do a major prune. It's also when you'll start feeding again. Summer is all about maintenance. You'll water more, do little cosmetic trims, and propagate those babies. Then in the fall, you start to wind down. Less food. In winter, that's nap time. You'll water way less, maybe only every few weeks, and you'll stop feeding it altogether until spring comes back around. We have covered so much ground, so let's wrap this up with something super practical you can use anytime. This is your go-to troubleshooting guide, a quick little cheat sheet for your plant's health. Let's just run through it real quick. If you see brown tips, the first things to check are your water and your watering habits. See yellow leaves? 9 times out of 10, that's overwatering. Or the leaves looking pale and washed out? That's a lighting issue. And if it's getting all sparse and leggy, it's begging for more light and maybe needs a break from feeding all those babies. See, it's really that straightforward once you know what to look for.